ground. Positive to positive. Positive to ground. What? I don't think the alternator in the Massey Ferguson is working, so I'm going to do some measurements and see if it's actually working or not. Otherwise, I'm going to have to install a new one. First, I want to measure the voltage across the battery when the engine is running. Right now it should be 12. 12.2. So if I rev it, nothing. So it's not charging. Well, just what I thought, the alternator is dead. The good thing about the days we're living in is that I can go to Amazon, select the alternator, prime share drone, buy now, and it says status out for delivery. Oh, right there, it's coming. All right. Right here, yeah, that's mine. All right, let's see what we got. The package is a little bit beat up, but let's see. Paperwork and the alternator. Oh, this is very nice. This is it says computerized test report pass. So apparently they run this on a test bench and has some information like maximum alternator output is 50 amps, maximum power 774 watts, and very nice. It has all the connection, B+, D+, and W. Alright, let's remove the old alternator. The bolt at the bottom is a 19mm, the one at the top is a 17. Lower bolt, belt, it's better to just remove the alternator from its location and then just pull the belt off like that. I'm gonna try to replace the belt as well. Probably I can get it back into the pulley through the radiator without removing anything. Everything seems to be the same, the attaching point in both, although this alternator is bigger, looks bigger in size, at least its diameter. Voltage regulator, this is a capacitor. Another difference between both alternators is that this one is lower, so this one feet almost touching the hydraulic pump, power steering hydraulic pump. Alright, get it from the bottom pulley is fairly easy. Now I need to get it from around the fan. There's not much space, but no, yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. And there we go, out. And just to be sure what belt length I need to buy, I'm gonna cut it and measure it. Alright, I say 46. Alright, let's see. This is exactly 45 3/4. So in the end I went with the 46 inches belt. This is the standard A44 4L 460. I'm going to put a link in the description if you need one of these. Alright, I'm going to put the belt, pass in front of the belt. Oh, yeah, I just put the belt in front of the fan, and I'm just gonna run it. There's a little gap here at the bottom, just like that. One more. That's it. Nice in one pulley, and now the bottom pulley. So now I have it here. Let's see if there is enough room, or if it's long enough once I put the alternator. Alright, memento of truth. Let me first get the belt in place. Alright. It is in the pulley and in the pulley. We're good. That was easy. One of these bolts, that's gonna take forever. Just pulling by hand, so there is some tension on the alternator, so the bearing is not forced. There is not any radial force on the bearing. So problem that I see, well, it is not a big problem, but the alternator is touching the hydraulic power steering pump. So I'm gonna have to grind a little bit of material off this lip right there on the alternator. See, here you can see I already ground a little bit just to avoid any rubbing with the pump. Just when doing that, make sure that you block all these holes with tape, so there is no dust getting in between the rotor and the stator. And just like that, the alternator is installed. Perfect fit, I would say 95%. So as you can see, it was a good idea to grind a little bit over here. There is no touching whatsoever. Probably I should have cut this bolt. These are, maybe there is like a plastic cover that you can get, but I wouldn't be able to use it because of this pump. So these bolts right here, they are useless. Anyway, everything seems pretty good. The belt is slightly moved forward in this pulley, but that shouldn't be an issue. Next, I'm going to be working on the cable that goes from the alternator into the battery, and this is a gauge 10 cable. I have a piece here, and I'm replacing this one because the seat is already cracking. This is so old that if I try to bend it, it cracks right away, like that. So I have a piece of brand new gauge 10 cable and gauge 10 terminals. Now these terminals come with a yellow plastic protection. I'm going to remove it because I'm going to use a hydraulic crimper. Alright, let me cut the length of the cable like the original one. It's more or less like so. And this tool has a built-in cable stripper, but as I mentioned in the video before, I would rather use the blade. It works, in my opinion, way better. Just like that. Perfect. As I mentioned before, you don't need this tool. This is probably way overkill, but it does a really good job. Gauge 10, die number 6. This is die number 4. Shrink tube, another shrink tube, and another terminal. This tool will be much easier to use if this lever will have a spring that auto-open it after pressure. is what it is. All right. Nice and beautiful. Here it is. All versus no one. Much better. I'm gonna link this crimper in the description because it is a great tool. In case you need a crimper, this has been serving me very well. So everything is connected now on the alternator to the battery, and let me show you the wiring that I've done. So here you can see this is the red cable that comes from the solenoid and the battery into the alternator. Then I use another cable for the ground that goes here to this point with all the grounds. I read in the manual that using this bolt as a ground is not a very reliable connection, so it's just better to have this cable right here and have the connection done right there. And one of the most important cable is this one going to the orange one going to D+. This one is the 12 volt that comes from the battery, exciting the stator and actually making the alternator to run. This cable, orange one, goes to the first click in the battery. That is, it has two connections. One is for the stator exciter, and the other one is for the lights on the dashboard, which I have connected to this voltmeter right here. So when the engine is running, I should be able to see the voltage. As a matter of fact, right now, if I turn the key one click, I should see the battery voltage, 12 volts. So before I tidy up the cables, I'm gonna run the engine and see if I'm getting actually 14 volts in the battery. 12 volts. Woohoo! 14 volts. Well, mission accomplished. Alternator is working, battery is charging. So far so good. The old cabling is still a rat nest, but that's gonna be another project when I have the roof between the containers, and then I'm gonna do the complete wiring on the tractor. But for now, alternator is running, battery is charging, all good. Thank you for watching.